What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be my review or my 2 cents on the 2019 Soul Train Music Awards. Now, first of all, let me just say this. I got my entire life, okay? I love the show. I love the show from beginning to end. I said this last year. I'm going to say it again this year. You know, once upon a time, the Soul Train Awards was sort of like the bastard stepkids. The bastard stepkids of these black award shows. Everybody knew they existed. And you kind of watched it. But it was one of those kind of things. Baby. They have a hit with Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell. Now, I'm biased because I have loved Tisha Campbell since Rags to Riches. And see, if you know Rags to Riches, then you know what I'm talking about. And you know how long I've been a fan. Been a fan of Tashina Arnold since, and I know she was on a lot of other stuff, but Little Shop of Horrors with her and her and Tisha Campbell together. And they are best friends. They do have chemistry, and I love them. I thought they did a really good job last year. I feel like they took what didn't work last year, what didn't kind of work out for them last year, and brought it into this year. And I just thought it was a great show. So let me just go through a couple of the things that I really, really, really like. The first thing I want to say that I liked was the Lady of Soul Award and the Legend Award this year were given to non-traditional candidates. And what I mean by that is, we know that Yolanda Adams deserved it. I mean, I don't think anybody will question Yolanda Adams getting a Lady of Soul Award. But the reality is that how many times do we give gospel artists their flowers while they're still here in mainstream? Now, they have the Stella Awards or the Dove Awards and things like that. But generally speaking, gospel, on these award shows, gospel is regulated to like one little song, and it's usually a medley, and you usually try to get as many gospel artists on stage at a time. You know what I'm saying? And so I love the fact that they chose a gospel artist. And yes, Yolanda Adams has crossed over. Her music has. She hasn't. Her music has crossed over. And she has some secular hits. So that was another reason why it was a good decision. Because there are a lot of people that, even if they're not religious or don't necessarily listen to religious or gospel music, they know Yolanda Adams. And they have probably sung along to a Yolanda Adams song a few times. So I thought that was a great decision. I also thought that the Jimmy Jam Terry Lewis decision was absolutely great as well. Because, again, nobody would question the men's talent and what they have given to the field of R&B music. But how many times do you see a songwriter get this type of shine? Again, getting their flowers while they are still here. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I did not... as much as I love me some Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and as much as I love their music, I did not realize that their catalog was as vast as it is. Did y'all? Tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Did y'all know that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had this many hits under their belt? I did not know. I didn't know they wrote Pretty Brown Eyes. I didn't know they wrote Tender Love. I didn't know. I mean, I could keep going and going and going. Now, a lot of the songs I did know, but I did not know. So, I want to say that. Now, the intro, I love the intro, but let me say I'm a little nervous about the intro. Let me explain. The intro, they did a Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold. They did sort of like a mock ball a la Pose type scene. They even brought MJ Rodriguez out as the mother of the House of Evangelista. They did a whole walk. They did a whole category. They had them holding up tens, and then they changed it when Tisha Campbell, you know they have that little comedic thing. So that was great. And they did a whole medley to Janet Jackson. And I'm not going to lie. At first I was like, is Janet Jackson getting the Lady of Soul Award? But I forgot about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And of course, with all of their hits, they're probably their most famous protege is Janet Jackson. And they let us know off the break, Janet ain't coming. That's all you getting. Like, we don't want you to think it. Don't hold your breath. Don't think we got her hidden in the back somewhere. Janet is not coming. Now, I feel a little some kind of way about that, but I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that go, but I feel a little some kind of way about that. Janet, you could have showed up. Janet, I don't think anybody in here will argue that your career would not be what it is had it not been for those two men. You could have gave us a little Love Will Never Do Without You, Rhythm Nation, you could have gave it a little bit. You could have gave us a little bit. But she was in a little montage that they did. So, okay, whatever. Here's why I'm nervous with the whole pose thing. What I don't want to happen with ballroom culture is what happened with Vogue. And if you watch Pose, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What I don't want is for it to be the flavor of the month because everybody loves Billy Porter and everybody loves Pose and all of that. And then it becomes a caricature. It becomes a prop. Do you understand what I'm saying? If y'all understand what I'm saying, hit me in the comments. But that's I'm happy to see it. I love Pose. I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was a great and bringing out MJ Rodriguez. And there were other people on stage. I don't know all of their names, and I'm sure y'all will let me know who else was there. But I just don't want it to become a caricature. I don't want it to go the way of Vogue. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about the song Vogue. Okay. But it was great. I did enjoy it. Now let me go to my notes because that was just my little 2 cents. Okay, so Sir performed. I liked his performance. I'm not very familiar with Sir. I have heard music by Sir, but I'm not very familiar with him. But I did enjoy his performance. K. Michelle did that, and again, y'all know that on K. Michelle's latest album, she sampled Can You Stand the Rain, and so it was great to see again when we talk about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who Can You Stand the Rain was their song, taking it and spinning it and flipping it and it still be part of an ode to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I thought that was great. Then we had a performance from the soundtrack for Slim and Queen. Now Slim and Queen is Lena Waithe's movie coming up. She wrote it. And a couple of things I want to say about that. I want to say that I want to say support it. I love Lena Waithe. I love what she's doing. I know that she sort of caught some flack a few months ago with the situation over To The Shy. But I want us to support. Now, the other thing was the song. I enjoyed the song, and it really put me in the mode of Love Jones. And if you follow my lives, we had a whole conversation maybe about a week or so ago about soundtracks from like the 90s, movie soundtracks from the 90s, and how some of those movie soundtracks you still can play them today from beginning to end and they are still on point, right? I feel like this could be one of those soundtracks based on that one song. If it's that, it sounds like, it's got that whole neo soul type vibe and everything. I'm looking forward to the hearing the rest of the soundtrack. I'm definitely gonna buy the soundtrack. Then we had the first tribute to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis because they said their catalog is so wide ranging that they had to break it in half. They had to do the ballads and then they had to do the other stuff. And so the ballads, they had Boyz II Men and they had Stokely. And that's why I was going to say Stokely Carmichael. It's not Stokely Carmichael. But anyway, I did not know that Tender Love, and we all know Tender Love, honey. We all know Tender Love. I did not know Tender Love was Jimmy Jam on Bended Knee, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Pretty Brown Eyes. So that was great. I mean, for me, you can't go wrong with a little bit of Boyz II Men and a little bit of Stokely on top. I mean, you just can't go wrong with that. Summer Walker won Best New Artist. Now, I don't know this young lady. I've been hearing her name a lot, and I know she just kind of stepped off tour to take care of her mental health. And you could sort of see in that she was nervous. I'm only bringing that up to say I hope that she's surrounded with good people who are going to put her well-being above the momentum that she's on right now. And that's it. I don't know her. I've heard her song. I have, but I don't know a lot about her. I don't follow her. Then we have DMV's own Wale. I definitely enjoyed his performance. He did he did 2 songs, and the second song, it was sort of like a Black Queen anthem where he was talking about how he's rooting for everybody black. He took the Issa Rae, line and was like, I'm rooting for everybody black. He had Kelly Price come out, and look, baby, look. We all know Kelly Price can blow. We know it. It ain't no, I still have bad memories of her in that reality show. Some people just should never do reality. And Kelly Price, don't you never do reality again. It just didn't work for you, boo. But I love me some Kelly Price. Now, They are coming up with season 2 of Soul Train. I didn't review season 1. I think I did like the season premiere just to kind of give a flavor, but I didn't review the whole season. I may review it this year. I liked it. I did enjoy it. I may review the whole season this year. I don't know. We'll have to see how when it falls and all that other good stuff. Queen Naja performed Good Morning Text. I love the words to the song. I love the words. Okay, then we had the Soul Cypher. Look, every year they knock this thing out the park. We all, as always, we had Erykah Badu on the DJ, Carl Thomas, Keisha Cole, Leandra Johnson. I was gonna say Leandria. I have a friend named Leandra, and that's weird. Okay, Leandra Johnson, Anthony Hamilton. Look, once again, you can't go wrong with none of them. You just can't. And what I appreciate about Leandra Johnson is that she gave us R&B, but she still threw God in there. She kind of did her own. You better call Tyrone, but it was called you better call Jesus, call God. Okay, so you gave us that. Cool, but that cipher was everything. Then we had Yolanda Adams get her Lady of Soul award. She gave us Yolanda Adams. I know some people don't. I've heard people that don't really care for. I like Yolanda Adams. Again, I'm not, I don't know that woman, but I do. I like Yolanda Adams. I know, again, when she did her radio show, I think she got some bad publicity because they said she wasn't a real nice person or whatever. But I like Yolanda Adams, and she gave us a good show. I mean, that suit she had on, I was loving it. She gave it to you. I mean, I'm sorry. She gave it to you. And again, I love how she stayed true to her and her music. She did not try to do a whole lot of her crossover songs. She had to do I Open Up My Heart. There's no way she could have got on that stage and not do it. But she kept true to her genre. And I loved it. Loved it, loved it. Luke James performed. I loved it. Y'all in the comments, tell me who those other two guys were singing with him. I think I recognized them, but I really wasn't sure, and I don't want to call no names, but I enjoyed his performance. Then Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis came out and accepted their award. Now, was Jimmy Jam sick? And I'm not being funny. We know that Jimmy Jam had always been a large guy. Not only is he thinner, I mean, look, I don't know if he had the surgery or if he really just lost the weight or if he's been sick, but his skin looked darker. His skin, if you look at those old pictures of Jimmy Jam and you look at last night, well, I watched it. It was last night. His skin even looks darker. But I ain't mad at him. Hey, do you, boo. Do you, boo. If he had the surgery, I ain't mad at you, boo. I ain't mad at you. Sounds of Blackness with my girl Ann Nesby was there. Shouts out to my Bennett sister, Maisha. That is her godmother. And she loves her godmother. And her godmother loves her, honey. Then we had the SOS band came out. Again, that was what they said that was their first production credit, was doing music for I guess outside of the time, was doing music for the SOS band. And if y'all don't, well, I'll get to that. Then we had Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal. Now look. I'm retiring Alexander O'Neal. Y'all might not retire. I'm retired. Alexander O'Neal, don't you never show up to another show. Don't know. I am retiring Alexander O'Neal. We love you for what you gave us. You will forever be one of our croners from the 80s. I ain't taking nothing from you. But I am retiring you, sir. Take a seat. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis came out and performed also with Babyface, who did their introduction. So you can't go wrong when you got a little bit of Babyface with some Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on the stage, baby. It ain't nothing but hits. That ain't nothing but hits on top of hits on top of hits on top of hits. Do you hear me? On top of hits. Okay? And then they went back to the time. And I knew when I saw Jerome in the audience early on. I didn't see Morris Day, but I saw Jerome, and I said, if Jerome is there, Morris Day ain't too far behind. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all better go back and y'all better learn something about the Minneapolis boys from the 70s, baby. You better go learn about the Minneapolis boys. And then they took it back to the time, baby, and they gave it to us. Now, in full disclosure, my DVR cut off in the middle of the damn performance, okay? Because I wasn't watching it in real time. And I usually, when it's an award show, I usually always tape the show that comes on after it. So when it does carry over, but I didn't do it. So if anything happened after the time came out, I'm sorry. I don't know nothing about it. I didn't see it. But I know I was getting my life in here. The whole show. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I really don't have a lot of criticism for the show. I don't. I just really don't. I really don't. I don't. Y'all might have found some criticism. Other people might have found some criticism, but I didn't. I found it. I thought it was a great show. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.